Welcome to another OCD recovery YouTube video where we talk all about OCD. And today I'm going to talk about all different topics. I thought I would just come on here, sit on here and talk about OCD, because often I come on with a topic and then I go off tangent and think about lots of different things. And I thought today I'm just going to come on, no plans, just see where we go talking about OCD. And we'll just go from one sort of topic to the next and see what happens. So I think where we'll probably start is about OCD questions. So when we've got OCD, what we tend to do is we tend to ask questions like this, specifically to family, specifically to therapist, coach, whoever you're working with. And it can be a bit like this. One more question, just one more question. Can I just ask that? Did you mean this? Did you mean that when you said this? What exactly did you mean then? Now, the reason we do that is because we're subtly chasing reassurance often. Obviously, those are genuine questions most of the time, a lot of the time, but they're also reassurance because we're trying to get very specific answers because we don't like that idea of being uncertain. We don't like the uncertainty, so we're looking for an answer. And we like a sort of black and white answer, so like very nailed down. When I used to try and learn things about OCD, I was making so many notes on sticky notes, and it just got completely out of hand because I was just making notes all the time. Oh, if you forget this, then you'll be stuck forever if you don't remember ... And we've got to be a bit careful of that because that can become very compulsive very quickly. And that's also to do with sort of session structure. What tends to happen, people talk about sort of just going along comfortably, sort of bits of stuff they want to know, and just going along comfortably. Last 5 minutes of the session, bang, 100 questions, because there's that chase. Oh my God, what if I get stuck this week and and didn't ask this, this, and this? Oh, I must ask all of that now, just in case I forget it and I stay stuck, or in case I've just remembered something, I better not forget that, and get in everything so that you don't stay stuck. That's the sort of common way people tend to approach sessions. So you don't really want to do that. You want to sort of go along a sort of an average pace, covering things as you go, and then expect that you do that towards the end of a session so that you don't get stuck in that position. But then usually don't look to sort of have everything summed up, because it's going to feel like you've forgotten everything from the session. Then you're going to be scared that if you forgot it, then you're never going to get better, or you're going to stay stuck for the next coming weeks. And then the common answer to that is, but I want to maximize the time. And that's understandable, but that's not maximizing time. That's trying to get control so that you don't miss any facts. Of course, using the time to ask things that are important. And so that's why I brought in a structure to help things, because when I was stuck, I used to find it annoying. Like I'd go to a session, sort of like 20 minutes in, I'd have like asked most things that I was stuck on. And then I'd think, oh God, I've got another X amount of minutes left. And so I thought, well, when I set up OCD Recovery, our company, I thought, well, we split sessions up for people to help them out. So like if someone wants to do a shorter session and they request that and say, can I do a shorter session to help out? Look, of course, sessions don't run like that in general. If you went across the board of most therapy sessions, for example, in the world, and looked at how long they ran, they all varying times based on how many questions someone's got, what they want to answer, what to ask, and so on. But by splitting that up, it means that people can maximize the time they've got better, and it helps them by doing that, so that they think, oh, okay, then I can ask that next time, and it's better for financial reasons, better for their own time utilization, various things. But what we need to be careful of is that we don't become sort of like compulsively trying to make sure that we've got everything understood to absolute certainty, because you're never going to do that. Like this video, you could replay it, and that would be helpful to an extent of learning something that was difficult to understand. But replaying it other than that would just become a compulsion of constant replaying, so that wouldn't be good. That becomes a problem. So you want to expect that you're not going to remember everything in a session. You've got to go with uncertainty. You're going to learn certain things. You're going to forget certain things, and that's just the same as life. If you tried to remember what you had for lunch today, you've probably forgotten. So you're not going to remember every single thing that you've heard in the last few minutes. So I think that's important to cover, because otherwise people get so concerned about, have they forgotten this? Have they forgotten that? Have I utilized this? And trying to internally control. And I've done a few videos talking about internal control, and that just like constant internal trying to get every answer to make sure that you're comfortable, to make sure that you're calm, because we're scared of not being calm again. That's the fear, because our life was interrupted with this OCD situation. So then we think like, oh my God, I'm never going to get back to that baseline of peace. And then there's a frantic chase to get back to there, which is actually fueling the cycle. So I think that's really important to be aware of. Other things to be important that are important to be aware of is you've got to expect that the journey is not going to be quick as you want it to be. That doesn't mean it's a lifetime, and it's certainly a lot faster than you think when you start learning the tools. But it's not going to be something instant. That's why we never use words like, "Oh, here's our quick fire tips and tricks to get better," like you see on loads of websites. It's a load of crap. You can't tips and tricks your way to recovery in a short duration, the same as you can't do an intensive 2-week course for OCD and get better. It doesn't work like that, because it's not something like that. It's like you can't, it's the same in fitness. You see people say like, especially when they're selling supplements, this 1 month change your physique to be, and then a poster of some guy who's been training for 20 years. You're not going to build muscle in that period or lose weight in that period. So it's not possible. It's always sort of missold. And that's the same as like you see vitamin stuff sold all the time online. Now you're seeing that more commonly. I mean, there are no vitamins that are going to make a significant life-changing difference to your OCD. You see them sold all the time. People, so many accounts selling them now, or running affiliate schemes to sell vitamins, because it's an easy thing to sell to someone who's stuck there wanting to take something that's easy. I can just do nutrition, and we like the idea of nutrition can solve everything. That's a common thing today, that we can think nutrition can solve everything because it's a nice feeling. But in reality, that's not how it works. That's just a fact. Doesn't work like that. I've never ever seen a case in my life of some guy, girl that's taken vitamins and it's completely transformed their life with OCD. Never seen it. But you're going to see tons of adverts. This vitamin for OCD, this vitamin for anxiety, There's never ever seen that. You've got to be realistic. We've got to be realistic with things, because otherwise we can, I see people come in all the time that are like, I've just become vegan because I wanted to change my OCD. I've just become a meat-eating diet only to change my OCD. That's not going to change your OCD. That may help in various health aspects in relation to what that particular thing does, and then be a hindrance to other things, but it's not going to be life-changing for OCD. I've never seen that case. Like, OCD is resilient. Let's get that straight, right? It's not something that just quickly gives over, right? Doesn't work like that, okay? You can't just lightheartedly wish your way to OCD recovery, or just eat some celebrity endorsed food that's just that they're currently promoting this month, where last month they were promoting some complete opposite diet, and they claim it changed their whole life. Yeah, that might have happened to them based on their sort of general life, their general ideas about that food and how that plays into their life. But it's certainly not going to work for something like OCD, which is a robust thing. That's not going to work like that, okay? Of course you're going to see that, the same as you see celebrities selling diet plans and crazy transformations. You see all of this stuff all the time. Things aren't, with OCD, it's not a sort of, you can't apply a sort of wishy-washy approach to it. I know I say that a lot, but I've got to be quite clear about that, because otherwise, if I just scroll through TikTok, and we're doing a lot on TikTok at the moment, and if you scroll through TikTok, you just see these sort of really weak phrases that are just things like, well, I say to myself in the mirror that you're strong and you're going to overcome, and that you're the doctor, all just sort of self-empowering phrases, but they do nothing for OCD. They might boost yourself up a little bit, but they do nothing. They're primarily built on conditional self-acceptance, so sort of conditions. And then then the other problem with them is OCD doesn't take orders from thoughts. It takes orders from beliefs. So if you tell yourself, I'm a good person, I'm strong, I'm confident, OCD is like, you're ugly, you're crap, and you're not confident, right? That's what it does. It's going to do the opposite, because that's how it specifically operates. So you can't, the more you tell yourself, I'm a good person, I'm a good person, I'm a good person, it's going to tell them, no, you're not, you're a crap person, you're a terrible person, you're the worst person. So it works like that. You can't do that. And that's the same as so much stuff which in relation to that, sort of loads of that stuff, sort of like ask the universe. Well, if you could ask the universe, I'm not talking about concepts like the sort of origins of I've forgotten the word now, sort of attracting positive things into your life by making positive changes in your life. Obviously, positive changes in your life are going to likely lead to other positive things happening, but they don't guarantee it. I mean, children in Africa that have got a disease or are in a famine, they're not just wishing that away and then recovering, or doing something in a mindset thing, or and then it's just recovering. It doesn't work like that. The world's not is not a film. It doesn't do those things. Like with OCD, I can tell you, I sat there wishing it away for years and years and years, and just please, can this go away, please? And that's when I realised that, like, well, actually, the universe is not listening. Like, I could be doing this for the rest of my life. Like, that's it. OCD was a wake-up call for me in that way. Became very rational quite quickly from that fact, because I realized very quickly, actually, there's no one there to solve that problem. There's no point complaining endlessly. You see this all the time, particularly online, social media. People complain like, oh, why did this have to happen to me? Why did this have to happen to me? Why did this happen to me? You want to be asking yourself the question, why not you? Why specifically not you and somebody else? Why should somebody else be suffering with this but not you? And then you think, because otherwise and Albert Ellis did a song about this, and I don't mean to be harsh and I don't mean to be cold about it. It's just a fact, and it's a really important fact to recovery journey. Otherwise it's just whining, and it's a zero return investment complaining. Yeah. If you just constantly complain, why me? Why me? Why did I have this? If only this hadn't happened. Why me? Why did this happen? Where's that getting you? Where's that actually getting you in life? It gets you nowhere, and you've got to be really firm. Now look, I know how hard OCD is, and I know how difficult that is, and I know how much we want rid of it, and I know how much we don't want to. We can think like that. I thought like that for years. I'm very, very aware of that. But I've got to be realistic that is not working. That is not working. It doesn't work. If it worked, you'd see people recover with that all the time. I see people that are in forums still saying that stuff 10 years later. Not people in with us, people that I've seen in those forums that have gone, oh yeah, that's the same person, 10 years, 20 years later, because it's a habit they've got into that's getting them nowhere. So you want to be really, really careful with that, okay? You want to be really, really careful with that, because it's a slippery slope to nowhere. It's a dead end. It's a real dead end, okay? So we've got to be careful with that. I was just checking that the battery hadn't run out on this phone, because this bloody iPhone, I can't see the battery, how much is left whilst I'm recording a video. But I will accept that. I'll be at peace with that. So you can see I'm a human being, annoyed about something. But that's a good point, actually. The difference between being annoyed about something and being chronically angry, so I can see rationally, okay, I'll allow myself to be annoyed about this. Now, say I lost that video. Why am I annoyed? Oh, what if I lose this video that I've just been speaking for 12 and a half minutes? Then I've got to start it all again. Then I might not remember the things I've spoken about, right? That is, of course, frustrating, but not awful. But you can think that's awful, and you could get really annoyed if you were making loads of videos, it kept happening or whatever, and you weren't charging your phone up, and then frustrated at yourself, angry at yourself, and then those cycles happen. They're all for a reason why they're happening, because of the beliefs that we hold about them. Now, back to that point, zero return investments. You've got to be really realistic about that. Complaining is not getting you anywhere, okay? It's definitely not getting you anywhere, okay? Now, it's understandable we're going to complain at times, but we've got to be realistic. Is it helping? Is complaining to our parents endlessly helping? Well, no, they're going to just keep giving the same answer. They're trying to help. That's not going to help. Is constantly complaining to the therapist or coach about how bad OCD is? Not really. They're trying to help you, and they're trying to work through things. So by doing that over and over, it's not like they're a kind of God that can fix things. That's another thing that holds people back in recovery, is the idea that when you're speaking to them, it's like, they should fix this now. They should have it all done for me. That's just how it works. No. They are there to help and support and guide the direction of the journey, but they are not there to sort of just take the weight of everything all fixed and done. You've got to get realistic with that about life. People are there to help, parents, family, therapist, coach, whatever. But you have got to put in the work. You've got to do the journey, okay? There's no easy way. Getting the idea out of your head of easy way is such a key part of recovery journey, because we do that. We think, oh, if I just take this pill, it's all fixed. No, it isn't. Pills, meds take the edge off. They do not cure and fix, and fix it all done. They take the edge off. You're still going to have to do work on beliefs. Rarely do I ever see someone who just took meds, got fully better, and never had a problem. You can still see the thinking that got them into that problem. What was I going to say? The next part that I wanted to talk about. The other thing that you want to be specifically careful about is the idea of a time frame, deadlines we talk about a lot on here, and about if you've got a certain deadline to recover, then that puts the pressure on anxiety, so anxiety turns up the heat. But we still do that anyway with how we're approaching things. Like, by next week I should have improved X amount, by the next 2 weeks I should have improved X amount, another amount, so on. That becomes a problem. Stop measuring that. Put down the internal thermometer, the anxiety thermometer down, because you're constantly measuring how you're doing and comparing it to other times. And then that's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and becomes a disaster. We don't want to do that. Give up measuring. However long it takes, it takes. If you went to the gym and every day you were measuring your arm and going, okay, I've got this much bigger my arm, every single time, you'd be better putting down that tape measure, training for 3 months, than looking at that, right? Or not even looking at it. Just thinking, well, I've done my best. This is how I look, right? You mustn't get into, you obviously are looking for progress. How have I done? 3 months, 6 months. I'm doing a lot better, feeling worse, whatever. Yes. But not getting on the scales every 10 seconds. Okay? That is not going to help. So we've got to be really strict with those things. With OCD, it does require a tough love stance, but a compassionate, tough love stance. So with me and my own journey, for myself, it was tough love, compassionate. Accept myself, accept me, changing behaviors, working on getting better, but proactive and making moves. Same as how when you're helping someone, or I'm helping someone. 100% in the corner behind them, 100% want them to recover, doing everything we can to get them to that position, but at the same time, making them aware that it's them that's going to do it by the guidance. That's key, because you can't create these. It's ridiculous now. You see some things where people are like, okay, you need to be in a completely calm space. It needs to be a perfectly safe space to ask everything. And then mainly reassurance in the beginning of most of the sessions and just making sure everything's comfortable. It's disaster, because the person is not getting used to discomfort and things not going their way and obstacles and fears and stuff like that. So it's got to be balanced. Of course, you want the person to feel supported and understand where they're going, but you're going to have to be realistically proactive, and that's going to mean moving towards scary things, okay, gradually. You can't do this through a sort of very light approach. This is a disorder that is got a robustness. It doesn't give over that easily, all right? We know that because most people experience it waxing and waning and haven't got under it, because to get under it, you've got to break down those core fears, which most people don't understand how they operate and how to do that. It's not rocket science, but you've got to look at, I'm actually scared of being alone. I'm scared of being rejected by others. I'm scared of losing my career. I'm scared of physical symptoms. I'm scared of death, whatever. And breaking those things down bit by bit, which gives a much more calming internal peace-like baseline sensation, which sets in gradually as we break all that stuff down. Okay? So that's key. So I think that's really important. I'm actually going to do this as a 2-part video because I can't see where this battery is, and if I do lose this, I don't want to lose it, and I'll start it again. I'll continue in the next one. So I'm going to continue this video now in the second part. So if you want to watch the second part, just click on the next video, and I will carry that on now. See you in a minute, guys.